Remember that hot Mamacita 5-star Electro DPS from the beta that everyone said was absolutely busted? But everyone said you need Kocharo? That's where they're wrong. Today we're going to be talking about Yinlin's best teams, her echoes, her rotations, her gameplay, and all of that, so that you can have a god Mamacita Yinlin full juice to dominate Solaris 3. My name is Gib, and let's get right into it. Also, make sure to hit that sub button.
Are you done staring?
Alright, now to start, Yinlin is pretty simple as a character. She has a regular 4 basic attack string, pretty simple. Then she has her heavy attack, which does this nice little spin around her, which is pretty cool. Now, this spin attack as well is pretty big AoE. Can do a lot of hits with it. Now, her plunge attack is you cannot triple jump with it. So if you ever try triple jumping with Yinlin while you're exploring or something, you cannot grapple out of her plunge, which is it's kind of weird. So now looking at Yinlin's skill here, Yinlin's skill is a 2-part combo. She has the first tick of her skill, which is going to put a skill-based mark on them, which is this red mark. And then once you do this second attack, you are going to hit them with execution. You do that big blast of lightning right there. Now, the second thing Yinlin has is judgment points. How her judgment point system works is you stack it up by doing your skill, your basic, or your ultimate here, your Resonance Liberation. And as you can see on the bottom, it's been stacking up. Now, once you have it fully stacked, you can turn your Sinner's Mark into a Punishment Mark. And this Punishment Mark lasts for 18 seconds and will do a tick of damage every second in terms of its cooldown. So if you're doing hits, it will do a coordinated hit within every second. Now, a very important thing to note about Yinlin's judgment point system is that it stacks significantly faster when you are in an AoE scenario, and this even applies to her Concerto as well. In AoE scenarios, it stacks way faster, which is why she is very strong and OP in AoE versus in single target. In single target, that's when she needs a single target DPS to help her out with your damage, but in AoE, she is going to be doing the same as your on-field DPS, if not more, because she is doing so many hits of damage to all of the enemies on field, as you can see on the left versus the right here. And lastly, we have the Yinlin Booba ultimate here. Yeah! Booba zoom in, just does 7 ticks of damage. Does a pretty good amount of damage. You do want to have good ER for her ultimate because it does do a lot in your rotation, but I will get on that more when we go into the echo section. All right, and last thing regarding Yinlin's judgment mark is, like I was talking about the heavy attack earlier, having a big AoE and doing 2 hits, it actually stacks your judgment pretty fast if you're trying to go for a very fast mark. However, do keep in mind you will be spending a lot of stamina for this, so if you're fighting a boss that's attacking you a lot, you won't be able to get a lot of these off. But as you can see, without doing any skills or anything, I just stacked my judgment to 100 points extremely fast right there. Now, because your heavy attack charges it so fast, you can actually combo it in with your skill to do a crazy fast judgment accumulation here. So as you can see here, I'm gonna go for a skill, heavy attack, go for a skill, and we are full mark. That is way faster than doing basics, but you do spend like around like, what is that, like 3, I'd say you go down to like 3/4 of your stamina is left.
You done staring?
All right, now looking into Yinlin's best weapons here. Oh my god, she is so bad though. All right, so for weapon rankings here for Yinlin, we have obviously her signature at the top of the listing here. Her signature gives her just a lot of stats that she can utilize in combat. She just has flat damage bonus, no conditional. It gives you crit rate, 30% crit rate, and this is only at level 70. When you have max, I think it maxed out at what, like 33% crit rate that you get from the last bit of the passive here. All right, and then next we have the Cosmic Ripples, which is the weapon you get from the standard banner. That one is very solid as well, right under her signature. Then we have the Battle Pass weapon, the Augment, which is a crit weapon, which is very nice to get some free crit. And then for the free-to-play people, we've got the Jinzhou Keeper, or either the Rectifier of Night or the Guardian Rectifier. Now, the Jinzhou Keeper you do need to get from the gacha, but it is probably the most free-to-play accessible 4-star weapon, since the augment comes from the battle pass, and the other 4-star weapon is just energy recharge. And this is a weapon ranking from Pridewin. Pridewin's not the Bible, but I personally don't do any weapon rankings, but if you want a nice little weapon ranking, see what it looks like percentage-wise, here you go.
You done staring?
Now, let's talk about Yinlin's best echoes. Yinlin has 2 echo options right now. You can either have her on full damage, which is the Void Thunder set, or you can have her on Moonlit, which is more of a supportive set for your on-field DPS, so that they can be a little bit more juiced. Now, your main echo you're going to want for the Moonlit set is either the Heron or the Turtle. Now, the reason I think the Turtle could be better a lot of the time compared to the Heron is the Heron, while it does give you Resonance Energy and the damage boost to the next character that goes on, Yinlin does a lot of damage, and she's going to be losing damage from going on to the Moonlit set. So if you go on to the Turtle and you give the whole team your damage boost, that has got to be way better than 12% damage boost go to your main DPS, when you could have 10% damage boost go to your whole team, and you get a 50% damage reduction on top of that. So you have a little bit of extra sustain, and you get damage boost for your Yinlin and your DPS, which is really nice. I think the Turtle, he just goes hard. Full team damage boost, you know, pretty solid guy. Now, for the Lightning set here, the Electro set here, you have I'm not gonna lie, you have a wide variety of active echoes that you can go for. You can go for something with very low field time, something like the Flautus, where you can cast the laser and swap off. Do keep in mind though, the Flautus, he has bad accuracy. If you're fighting an enemy and like the enemy moves, the laser kind of just sits in one direction and doesn't really change its direction, because when you animation cancel it, you're removing your ability to aim the laser, which is what you would normally be able to do when you are transformed into it. So it kind of just aims in one direction. So I'd only recommend this if you're fighting an enemy you know is going to be like fully targeted on you, and they're probably going to tank all the Flautus energy. Because if not, you'd be better off having something like the Predator or the Spectral Prism for your active, so that you can just get some damage off. And these are just summons, so you don't have to worry about their cast time or anything, because you can do these in the middle of your animations. And these also just have an 8-second cooldown, so you know, they're just pretty much free damage that you can get off. Now, on top of that, for the 4 cost, you have both of the Mephises here. Which Mephis is better? So there's a lot of talk between Thundering Mephis and Tempest Mephis. The problem with Thundering Mephis, even though it gives you a very good buff for Yinlin because she wants ult and electro damage compared to the electro and heavy attack damage, the Mephis has a very long attack animation on field, which is usually pretty hard to get off in combat. The nice thing about it though is it teleports you to the enemies you're hitting, and it does do decent damage, but the problem is you probably won't get all of this damage off. So do keep that in mind when you're using the Thundering Mephis. You can, however, use the Tempest Mephis, which gives you the damage buff from just the first claw, if you want to go for a claw attack and then to a swap off animation cancel. But you wouldn't be really benefiting from the heavy attack, because Yinlin's heavy attack is only her judgment mark putting on the punishment onto the enemies. And then lastly, for another active, you could have the Violet Feathered Heron, because this guy gives you a free parry, which is very nice. And this parries just about any attack in the game. I haven't seen... The only attacks I think this gets hit through is if an enemy does like a multi-hit attack. But I mean, that makes sense. You can't parry that normally anyways. So if you have an enemy doing like, you know, like maybe, what is it? Like Crownless doing something where he does like all the spins in a row, you're only going to be able to parry one spin. Another reason this is good is because it gives you free 5 Concerto energy, which is extra for your swap out. So that is also a nice little booster. And the stats you're going to be looking for on both sets is going to be a 4-3-3-1 set for your optimal build. There has been discussion about 4-4-1-1-1 builds. Those are obviously worse, but they will give you the stats for lower farming time and lower, lower investment. But for the for the best stats and investment, you want to have either crit rate or crit damage. You're probably going to be going crit damage if you have a crit weapon, because Yinlin gives herself so much crit, and you can just roll crit on your echoes on top of that. So you're probably going to have a lot of crit if you have a crit weapon. But if you don't have a crit weapon like me, you are going to be going crit rate so that you have a good crit ratio. Now, on top of that, you are going to want 2 electro damage bonuses for your 3 costs. I'm running an attack right now because, the Flautus just hates me. You want to see my Flautus right now? You'd think one of these Flautus is electro damage. None of these Flautus are electro damage. I'm going to let you know right now. None of these Flautus are electro damage. And the one electro damage Flautus I did get, you don't see it anymore. Why? because that boy rolled garbage. He went flat attack, flat HP, flat defense. So, you know, if you're like me, you're getting attack percent. I'm not going to lie, Yinlin, she's still putting out big damage. I don't know the exact percentage of attack versus electro damage, but it can't be that big, especially when this set gives you electro damage to fill in for that. And then on top of that, you can get damage bonuses inside of your kit as well. So I'd say off the top of the head, it's probably like a 5% difference on being electro damage or attack. Source, my left butt cheek.
You done staring?
Alright, this is going to be a pretty quick section here talking about Yinlin's best resonance chains here. So you go into the resonance chain screen, you see Yinlin looking at you like this. You're like, damn, I need to get copies. Don't fall for it, brother. We must stay strong. We must stay focused, brothers. Anyways, her resonance chains, they are all pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Her first resonance here makes it so that your magnetic roar and your lightning execution do 70% more damage. If you don't know what that is your skill, and then the second cast of your skill, so you just get 70% more damage on that. Just overall damage increase on your kit. Your second one makes it so you get your ultimate faster because you are going to get extra judgment points and extra resonance energy from doing your electromagnetic blast, which is specifically just the second hit of your skill. Now we have her third one. Her third one literally just makes your Judgment Strike get 55% increase on its multiplier. Judgment Strike is when you have your Judgment energy at 100, your Forte at 100, and then you do that, you know, big lightning strike from the sky, Yinlin sits on you, that type beat. That is going to get 55% damage increase. Her fourth one just gives everyone in the team a 20% attack boost after you do your Judgment Strike, which I just talked about. Her fifth one is going to make it so that her Thundering Wrath does 100% increased damage to people that are marked with Sinner or Punishment Mark. This is literally just people that you've basic attacked, you've skilled, they have the mark on them. You're probably always going to have this mark on them. Pretty much your ult just gets 100% damage increase. Pretty busted. And then lastly, this turns Yinlin into a nuke when she gets swapped on field, making the first 30 seconds after she casts her ult, her first 4 basic attacks get a like mega enhancement of 419% scaling, pretty much 420% scaling attack, and you get 4 of those, so that is insane. You're getting like 1,200 of that Junko, which is like literally crazy. So pretty big damage at C6. It makes it so she swaps on field, everything gets deleted. Now, which one of these is probably the best investment? I'm not gonna lie, they're like all broken. I feel like C4 is probably the most lackluster, but 20% attack boost to your whole team isn't bad. So realistically, if you were to go for some vertical investment and stop somewhere, you'd probably stop at like C1 or C2. Because if you're going all the way, I mean, you might as well go full juice. I know, you know, I don't know. I think Yinlin is amazing C0 though, or S0, whatever it is, R0. What are people calling this game? I don't even know. But me personally, free-to-play God Gamer, C0 Yinlin. But you know, for the whales out there, you know, maybe like a C1, C2. C2 is probably going to feel very nice because it would make it so that you would get your judgment way faster. Probably subtracts at least like 2 seconds, I would say, if you get 5 extra judgment points from your skill. So, yeah. And then it would also make your ER requirements lower as well. But those are Yinlin's resonance chains.
Time to wrap it up.
Now, lastly, to finish off the Yinlin ultimatum here, we are going on to the Yinlin team synergies. So Yinlin has a lot of synergies, but I don't even think her best synergy is revealed yet. And honestly, it's probably going to be the Electro Rover, but who knows when we're getting that. That's probably going to be like, I don't know, a year, 2 years, 3 years from now. We don't even know what element the next region is going to be. But Yinlin synergies, everyone knows Kalcharo, you know, she gives Electro and ult damage on her outro skill. Kalcharo benefits from both of those when he goes into his ult. Combo did get a little bit nerfed on Yinlin with Kalcharo because you cannot quick swap and keep the outro skill like you used to be able to in the beta. So that is a thing to keep in mind. And your third character on this team would probably be a Baiji or a Verena. Now, in place of Kalcharo here, we actually have the GOAT, Yanwu. Now, why is Yanwu good with Yinlin? Yanwu can add a lot of weakness break to your team, toughness break to your team. If you don't know what the toughness is, it's that little bar under the boss. Now, that bar under the boss Yanwu is the only person who can do this type of bonus break onto them like that. And Yanwu's field time is literally like non-existent. But with Yinlin, you can add on to his field time and it doesn't feel bad because you would have Yinlin's coordinated attacks with Yanwu's coordinated attacks plus his vibration strength breaking. They call the weakness or toughness bar in this game vibration strength, but a lot of people don't know what that means, so I'm just going to keep referring to it as toughness bar. Another DPS you can have in here is the Havoc Rover, and the Havoc Rover actually is a very solid option for Yinlin because you have a ton of on-field damage. The Havoc Rover benefits from the ult damage that you get from her outro skill from Yinlin, and the Havoc Rover does a lot of single target damage while having a little bit of AoE, but they can't hit the whole map like Yinlin can, and Yinlin can cover for that, because that's kind of Havoc Rover's only weakness, but like their Havoc Rover is so strong, it's insane. Alright, so now I just want to show what the rotations for a Yinlin and a single target DPS could look like. So I'm using Yinlin with the Rover, pretty free to play friendly, or whatever you have going on. You should have this for an example. Always want to start with your skill here. Go for your skill, go for powered skill. Now while you're in this form, you can actually swap off while you're doing the judgment attack, which is really nice, so you don't have to wait for that animation. And like I was saying earlier, you can have it so that the Dreamless is proccing those coordinated attacks for you while you have some downtime with your Rover, which is really nice. And we're going to be able to get that guy over there. I think this ult is going to be a little bit wasted, which is unlucky. But go in here, clean this guy up like this. Enter the Dreamless, go like that. And we can go like this. Now, I'm using the Electro Predator just so I don't have to worry about any swapping or anything. But I did talk about in the echoes, what I think about all of the echoes here. Also, really nice thing about this team is you don't get punished for any outro skills really in this team, because Rover is just going for the ult buff, and then Yinlin is just going to be getting the damage like on the field from the Havoc Rover. So you don't have to really worry about any uptime on one of your outro skills or anything really, because you're just going to go from outro into ult and stuff like that. Like here, I get to Havoc damage on the field, go into form. Now I go back into Rover, enhanced ult. I'm only getting one enemy in this, unfortunate, is what it is. Enemies are split up, but that's where Yinlin comes in with the clutch, marking all of them, which is very nice. Guys are mad split up. Like, what is that Arrow Predator doing? Bro is just in Narnia over there in the corner, man. See, this is where Yinlin is very nice. Also, Wuthering Wave's camera, that's classic. I literally am not even controlling my camera right now. Oh my. Alright, in a world where my camera is not bugging out right there, have like a little bit of a cleaner run. And we just ult this guy, and they're dead. So that's the run. Not the cleanest, had that camera problem at the end, but that is how the rotation would look like if you had Verena in there or a healer. You would be swapping into there just to get your damage bonus and cast like your Echo, your Turtle, your Heron for the damage bonus. But as you can see, that is the simple idea of how the rotation would pretty much look like. I was using my heavy attack rotation that I was talking about. As you can see, it fills it up very fast. It's really nice. The problem sometimes with the heavy attack, as you can see though, is when the enemies get out of range, try to make sure you get in range to hit them for that thing. But yeah, that's about it. You also have characters like Yang Yang. You could do Yang Yang in this team with, let's say, a Havoc Rover, and you could funnel into either character. You could have Yang Yang funnel into either the Rover or the Yinlin, and both of those would be good because both of their ults do a lot of damage. So you'd have a very high ult uptime team, and you wouldn't have to worry about energy regen as much, which is very nice. You can do a on-field DPS Yinlin team with something like this, where you have Sanhua boosting your basic attacks on Yinlin. Oh, and another reason Sanhua is good in this Yinlin team is because Sanhua ult does a good amount of damage, and she wants to do her ult, and since it does a good amount of damage, you would get the Resonance Liberation boost from Yinlin on top of that, which is very nice as well. Okay, and last team here. This team I have not personally tested, but I think it cooks. Now, hear me out here. Hear me out here. So, Yinlin, Zhanjin, and Mortefi. I just got Mortefi, so I haven't been able to try this team out because I haven't built him. I got free-to-play mats. It is what it is. But this team, on paper, should work. So how the rotation for this team would work is you would go from Yinlin to Mortefi to Zhanjin, and then back to Yinlin with all their outro skills in mind. And because of this, you would have like a mega nuke blender. Because if you don't know, Zhanjin, when she's doing her forte, her spin around attack, all of those hits proc Mortefi's ultimate damage as heavy attack hits. So you have like a fire, lightning, death tornado. And then on top of that, you would have Yinlin's coordinated attacks with the team as well. Now, I have not tested this, but I will definitely be testing this more in the future. So stay tuned because I might make a separate video on it when I get Mortefi a little bit more juiced up, because I literally just got him off of Yinlin banner. And that is going to be it for the team section here. And yeah, comment if you would let Yinlin absolutely suck you dry of your astrites. Duh.